A week ago, I uploaded a short video talking about 5 characters I'd love to see return in the Hajime no Ippo manga. But it seems some people misunderstood what I meant. I wasn't necessarily saying they had to return as boxers, I just meant I wanted to see them again. Whether it's a quick interaction with other characters, a surprise cameo sharing their thoughts on a fight, or just knowing what's going on in their lives now, that alone would be enough for me. So today, I put together a more in-depth, better structured video going over all the characters I'd truly love to see make a return to the manga. Let's get started. Alfredo Gonzalez. This one's definitely one of my favorites. Yes, he's retired. He made that decision after losing to Takeshi Sendo, feeling satisfied with everything he'd accomplished in boxing. And over time, he's become really loved, not just by me, but by a huge part of the fan base. He's just a fantastic character overall. What I'd love most is to see him as a spectator at the fight between Ricardo Martinez and Takeshi Sendo. And even if he doesn't travel to Japan to see it live, I'd be happy just seeing him watching it from his house or gym, eyes glued to a TV screen. Honestly, even a moment like that would make me happy. Jason Ozama, another fan favorite. This American boxer was Ippo's 3rd opponent in the pro ring. He disappeared from the story a long time ago, but his presence still resonates with the fan base. In the manga, we were told he was destroyed by Ippo, which is a bit weird because he did have a comeback match after losing to him. So I don't think he'll return as an active boxer, but I'd love to see him again in some way. Maybe in a short scene when Ippo returns to the ring or becomes world champion. Okay, maybe I'm dreaming too big, but I truly believe it could happen someday. The next character is Aikoa. Maybe you don't remember who this is right away, but she was Ippo's classmate who appeared all the way back in the first chapter. She invited Ippo to hang out with her and some friends, and not too long ago, she showed up again at a school reunion, talking to Ippo a lot, flirting with him. And yes, she definitely wanted to experience the power of Ippo's Big Mara. She even gave him her phone number and asked him out. But of course, our boy Ippo is a bit of a goof and lost the number. I'd love to see her again, flirting with Ippo, maybe right in front of Kumi. That could make for a really interesting scene. Other of my favorites is Ryuchi Hayami. He was one of Ippo's opponents in the rookie tournament, and he's still boxing. But there's a problem. Kenta Kobashi told us that Hayami developed a glass jaw after his fights with both Kobashi and Ippo. And even though he's still in the ring and has loads of talent, he's been defeated 8 times in a row. It's heartbreaking. I don't think his boxing career can recover at this point, but I'm really curious about what's going to happen with him. And to be honest, I'm kind of worried about him. I didn't like him much when he first appeared, but now, yeah, I want to see more of him. Antonio Gavara. He was Ippo's last opponent before he left the ring, and in my opinion, he absolutely needs to come back as a boxer 100%. Some people talk about a possible rematch with Ippo, and I think it could definitely happen. The main reason? Gavara himself might want it, because during their fight, it was obvious he was no match for Ippo, and yet he still ended up winning. So maybe he's been questioning that victory. Why was Ippo stumbling? Why did those strange things happen in the ring? Maybe Gavara has been wondering all this time whether he really earned that win and wants to prove it to himself in a rematch. Others say he might fight Ichiro Miyata instead, and honestly, that would make total sense too. It'd be a powerful moment. Miyata facing the man who stole Ippo's dream, robbing him of his chance to fight professionally. That would be huge. Randy Boy Jr. Longtime followers of the channel know how much I love this guy. I highly doubt he's retired. He had so much talent, and his goal was to fight Ricardo Martinez, so there's no doubt in my mind. He's probably a world-ranked boxer right now. And yeah, one of my personal fantasies is seeing Randy as one of Ippo's comeback opponents. Wally, the monkey kid. I know, he's retired, but I really grew to love this character, and I'm not the only one. The whole fandom did. I just want to know how he's doing. Remember, his dream was to become a zoologist, to open a wildlife sanctuary, and to protect the animals and nature on his island. I'd love to see him fulfilling that dream. Naomi Yamada, Ippo's very first disciple. He vanished from the manga ages ago and only had one brief, silent appearance. I'd love to know if he's still boxing, or if he became a coach. In that one scene, we saw him in a boxing gym, so it really got me wondering. Though, if I'm being honest, I doubt he's still an active fighter. Marcus Rosario. He's a fairly new addition to the story, but the way his character was developed during his fight with Ryo Mashiba really made me like him. I definitely want to see more of him. He promised he'd come back to Japan, and some fan theories even suggest that Miyata could be his next opponent if Miyata moves up in weight to the lightweight division, which is actually his ideal class. So yeah, it's not that far-fetched. I really like Marcus Rosario as a character, and if he ever finds out what happened to Mashiba after their match, I'm sure he'd feel something. After all, he didn't just see Mashiba as a rival, he respected him as a great boxer, and taking that away from him must hurt. The Regular. Yeah, this one's a bit random, but I'd love to see him again too. He's that weird fan of Kimura's, basically a homeless guy who somehow ended up becoming friends with Takamura. He even showed up naked alongside Takamura on Pikater, the manga's parody of Twitter. I want to know more about him. What's his backstory? Why did the author include him? There has to be a reason. Billy Macallum. This former WBC world champion went up against Ricardo Martinez. He was no real challenge to Ricardo's skills, but I doubt he actually retired. Then again, after being humiliated like that, maybe he did. Still, it wouldn't surprise me if he wants a rematch to prove himself or redeem his pride. And I also wouldn't be shocked if one of the featherweights we know ends up clashing with him in the ring. Sawamura Ruhi. Okay, so he's never been one of my favorites, but when I saw him show up during Ryo Mashiba's fight with Marcus Rosario, it really hit me. It was like seeing an old friend you haven't met in years, and you just want to run up, hug them, and catch up. Maybe after seeing what happened to Mashiba, Sawamura might want to return to boxing, but not as a fighter. I could totally see him becoming a coach for counterpunchers, maybe even teaming up with Mashiba to open a gym together or something. I know I'm fantasizing, but come on, that would be awesome. Takamura's past rivals. There are also a few characters I'm very curious about. Takamura's former opponents. We know Brian Hawk quit boxing completely, traumatized after his fight with Takamura. But what about the others? Guys like David Eagle and Richard Bison? I don't think they retired. They could still be active, and might even have regained world titles. Let's not forget, even though Takamura enters the ring with all those belts, he's not officially champion of every weight class anymore. As he moves up in weight, he has to relinquish his titles. Characters I didn't mention. I know some of you are probably screaming at your screens right now, what about Alexander Vorg-Zangief? And I get it, but I didn't include him because to me, it's obvious he will come back. Same goes for others like Manabu or Takagi. They were mentioned a lot in the comments of last week's video too. So don't worry if I didn't include some of your favorite characters, it's probably because I believe we will see them again one way or another. The characters I did include today, sadly, I feel like there's a real chance we might not see them again. And that's why I wanted to give them some attention now. Don't forget to subscribe for more Hajime no Ippo content.